Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be playing the third part of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, covering Chapter 2, The Great Boggly Tree. Before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
Something really good might happen to me soon, and I am hoping it does.
I hope it does too.
I
Good
say
things
really
happen.
good. It's like if I told you what it was, you'd be like, "Oh." But for me,
I can't judge your life and what you find good and not good.
I think it would be good for me. I'm not saying what it is. I'll say what
Okay.
it is if it happens. But that's all.
Let's see. Well, very, very presently, as in literally right now. So, I was sick for a week or so, which sucked. And in the process, my sleep schedule started to migrate. Because, like when you're sick, sometimes you just you just sleep when you get exhausted and it just completely messes everything up. So it's slowly been migrating. And then I was like, okay, well, it's migrating in a way where I'm like awake more in the morning and asleep a lot of the afternoon, which isn't great, but I can like make work a short amount of time maybe. And hey, we're supposed to do this upcoming Monday. There's a big solar eclipse. Me and my wife and my wife's wife are all gonna go on a road trip to go to Vermont to go, see the solar eclipse. Like that's gonna be fun. Of course, it's happening the time of day. I would need to be awake for that in the morning, and so or in early afternoon. So it's like, oh, this sleep migrating is not that bad. And then last night, I go through periods of drinking a lot of soda and then abstaining from soda because it stops working on me and it starts just like being like, oh, I need this to function now. I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had soda in like 2 or 3 weeks. And then last night I had so much Mountain Dew. So I've been awake, I think, around 24 hours at this point.
Oh,
I can't sleep. I've tried multiple times. I can't. Hopefully now I can. It's been a while since I tried. But I'm awake, I'm lucid, I'm just very I'll say Mountain Dew is half of the problem. The other problem is my wife's wife, who's absolutely wonderful, love her to death. She did a horrible thing. She introduced me to a game called Balatro. I don't know if
I've heard
either
of
of you
it.
have
Heard of it.
Yeah, the poker roguelike deck building game. It's so addictive. It's so well designed. It's frustrating. It's so fun and it's so good. But it's the kind of fun and good that like Civilization is, where you're like, I'm gonna play a little bit more. I'll keep playing a little bit more. And then you're like, it's been 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
When you said
So
Civilization, for half a second, my brain didn't register Sid Meier's Civilization. I was like, Civilization is not fun. I want to be a hunter-gatherer.
I mean, listen, in that context, I don't disagree with you. But yeah, that's my current existence. That's what my state of being is. What about you, Sam?
So I have had a awesome week at work, which it isn't very common. I mean, like I don't have bad times at work, but work is just like the thing I do before I start doing other fun stuff. But this week, so part of what we do at my nonprofit involves getting all of this data from the state to then process it and see how we're doing and make changes based on the data, et cetera, et cetera. But the state gave us this stuff as a CSV with a lot of quote unquote helpful white space in it that is 450,000 lines long. No one wants to read it. They want the robots to read it and summarize it for you. I'm not going to scroll through all this pleasant white space you gave me for 450,000 lines. That's stupid. So I spent all of Thursday and Friday writing a Python program that would go through and remove all of the white space and make it a usable data document. And it was a lot of fun teaching myself Python and all of the things. It was really dope.
Fun. That honestly does sound genuinely very fun. I'm happy for you.
That sounds fun for someone who's not me. I'm too busy hunting and gathering.
Yes. When I talk about all the fun data entry things that I do, makes good sense why I was excited to write a Python program to process 450,000 lines of a CSV. That's just who I am as a person. But other than that, I feel like we recorded yesterday. This week just completely and totally blew by me. But next week, I can talk about next week. I'm going to Texas next Saturday, so I will not be here to podcast. And Bernard and Trish will do a little shortcast intermission while I am in Texas eating good food.
Texas has good food.
It does. Almost nothing else, but it has good food.
It has good food. It has hot.
Yeah.
I have my entire Texas experience thus far is a layaway as part of a flight. So the food thing I'll agree with because I had a good burger in the air. It's like the
It only gets better from the airport.
I'm sure that was already pretty good. It was a good burger.
No, I want a burger.
I want a burger too. I had burgers last night and I want a burger.
Oh, speaking of food and last night and my week, we made our own pizzas last night. And we went all out and made our own supreme pizza, and it was so good that so yesterday was like a pretty bad day. The kids were kids, and they were opposite kinds of kids towards each other. So it was not meshing in the back seat while we were out shopping and stuff. And so
they were small humans at each other.
Yes. So me and Summer get home and we're exhausted and we're fed up, and we finally get the kids to bed, and then we dig into our homemade supreme pizza, and it's like, you know what? Today was a good day. Just forget everything else that happened. This pizza completely turned the day around, and Summer's making some more tonight, so I'm excited.
I love pizza.
Me too.
I want pizza and a burger.
A pizza-burger.
No, I want them separate. I'm going to go hunt a
hamburger,
pizza,
but no hamburger.
A burger.
Yeah. So in high school, we had a snack bar in the cafeteria, and they had hamburgers, and they also had those little personal Totino's pizzas or whatever. And and so what I would do basically every day is I would get a burger and a pizza and curly fries, put them all together, add some barbecue sauce, and then that was my pizza-burger that I ate all the time, and I thought it was amazing. A couple people tried it and also said it was amazing, but maybe they were humoring me. But then, flash forward to when I moved to Austin, several bajillion years later, there's a place called Big Daddy Burger that is basically if Bob from Bob's Burgers could do the burger of the day 50 times every day, that's their menu, is a bunch of shit like that. And one of them has a slice of pizza on the burger. And I was like, I was revolutionary. I did this 15 years ago, and I should have patented it so I could have made big Daddy Burger money.
I mean, I said I want them separate, and I would eat them separate if you gave me the two of them right now. But if you gave me a burger with a slice of pizza already on it, I would eat it. And I would enjoy it. I would just probably elect to eat them separately.
But yeah, what I would elect to do is talk about Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door.
Amazing segue. Brilliant.
Thank you. So let's listen to some music, and then we'll talk about the plot for this one. So Bernard, what happens in this chapter?
Back in Petalburg, Koops decides to keep traveling with Mario because people don't leave the party in this game. He says goodbye to everyone. Now Trish is probably thinking, oh, Bernard doesn't know that someone leaves the party later. And
I'm not
what
saying
a fool.
Hey,
Koops says
there
goodbye.
are many things I'm okay with being put in my mouth, but words in this circumstance is not one of
them. Anyway, Koops says goodbye to everyone. Then Mario and friends head back to Rogueport. The legends say that once you get a crystal star, if you hold the map in front of the 1,000-year door, the way to the next crystal star will be revealed. On the way, Mario gets the email that Princess Peach sent earlier. It just relays everything that we know, so now Mario knows that Peach knows that the X-Nauts know that Mario knows where the crystal stars are. The 1,000-year door reveals a forest on the map. Mario and friends go to Professor Franklin, who reviews the map and says the location of the next crystal star is the Boggly Woods. There's probably a pipe under Rogueport that'll lead there. Convenient. He also describes the strange bug-like creatures that live there. Mario and friends head under the city and see one of the creatures the professor described. And I like how I think Goombella actually says it's like, that's one of the creatures the professor described. But I love when people describe things in this game. They just say, they look like this, and an image of the thing appears in the text box.
I love that started with this Mario game and has never stopped. Like, that's just how Mario characters talk now, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I like how in like Mario Odyssey and Mario Galaxy, it'll be like, and then Bowser, and there's a little Bowser emoji next to it, did this. Texting like a grandma, but in their speak.
Yes.
Mario and friends head into the city and see one of the creatures that the professor described. The creature thinks Mario is there to eat or kill or bully him. His name is Punio of the Punies, and he reveals that a gang of bad guys called the X-Nauts took over the Punies' great tree and are wrecking up the place. Goombella asks about the crystal star, or whoever your partner is asks about the crystal star. It could be Koops, but you have Goombella out because she's the best.
Yeah, exactly.
I never had Goombario out in the first game, and I have literally never had a different person on the overworld that wasn't required for a puzzle in this game.
Yeah. Anyway, Punio doesn't know anything about the crystal star, but he says that if they have it, surely the puny elder would give it to Mario if he agreed to help, and Mario agrees to help. Punio opens the way to the pipe to the Boggly Woods. Chapter 2, The Great Boggly Tree. The Boggly Woods are weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all want to describe how they look?
Yeah, it's a lot of black and white and a lot of like circles, I guess is how I would describe it.
What it looks like is the indie Metroidvania darling Hue, that game. The stark black and white with a bunch of bright colors, but not the right bright colors. That's the vibe.
I'm not familiar.
You. Yeah,
I'll drop a picture in chat because it's like exactly like that.
All right, and we'll enjoy the photo or the screenshot while our listeners have to Google it themselves.
Absolutely.
On the way to the Great Tree, Mario and friends see the Shadow Sirens. The oldest, Beldum, is slinging abuse at the youngest, Vivian. There's also Marilyn, but I won't be mentioning her because she just says "guh."
She literally just says "guh."
She actually does say later on, Beldum's like, "We are," and then Marilyn says, "the three."
Yeah, you're right. She does have a small line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And one time, it's very important. She does say "bugga."
Bugga.
Yes.
Of course.
You know, I think the important thing about Marilyn is that she doesn't take any guff from anyone.
I see. Beldum blames Vivian for losing the sketch of Mario that they're supposed to use to identify him, even though Vivian never had it. Beldum goes so far as to take away the beautiful necklace Vivian just found on the ground, and that Vivian was very excited about. Since they don't have the sketch, the Shadow Sirens don't recognize Mario as he walks on by, even if he goes up and talks to them. Mario and friends make their way to the Great Boggly Tree, but they find that the X-Nauts have installed a big metal door over the entrance. They can't get in. Punio says there's a secret entrance, but it's hidden by something invisible, and how are they going to move something they can't find? Punio says Madame Flurry might help. She's a wind spirit who lives nearby, and surely she can use her wind powers to blow the invisible thing away. We see Flurry's house deep in the woods, and we hear her talk about her past as an actress and state her determination to return to the stage. But then she realizes something's wrong. Oh no. Mario and friends head to Flurry's house and call through the door for her, but she refuses to leave her room because she can't be seen without her necklace, which is missing. She thinks maybe it slipped off during her walk earlier. Goombella realizes that must be the necklace that Vivian had, so Mario and friends head all the way back to the beginning of the woods to find the Shadow Sirens and kick their asses. Meanwhile, the Shadow Sirens find the sketch and realize the handsome mustachioed gentleman who passed by earlier was Mario. When Mario shows up, Beldam says they'll take the map and put it into his search for the crystal stars. And also Beldam talks about Mario being handsome, which is going to be a theme this week.
It really is.
Vivian introduces her and her sisters as the three Shadow Beauties, which pisses off Beldam because according to Beldam, she and Marilyn are beautiful, but Vivian is, quote, plug ugly, unquote.
Which is just so rude and untrue.
It is.
Especially when you consider what was going on with Vivian in the original.
I don't actually know much about that, but we can talk more about that if you know more about that, because all I know is that something was going on in the original.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Later.
Beldam says the three Shadow Sirens will defeat Mario, and they attack. It's a pretty fun fight. It has good music.
It does.
Mario and friends beat up the Shadow Sirens, who drop the necklace and run away. Mario and friends return to Flurry's house and return the necklace. Flurry finally comes out of her room, and she's a lot.
In multiple senses of the word.
Yes. The Wind Spirit is immediately very horny for Mario, and smooches him a whole lot, despite his protests.
Which is a little uncomfortable.
Yes, that's not what you're supposed to do. She says she's joining Mario on his adventure. Flurry has joined the party. Mario and friends head back to the Great Tree and use Flurry's wind powers to blow away the sheet of paper which was covering the secret entrance. Punio heads inside and unlocks the main door. Mario and friends enter the Great Boggly Tree and are greeted by a pair of X-Nauts. Mario kicks their asses, and they run off to report to Lord Crump. Once the X-Nauts leave, a handful of Punies come out of hiding. Punio asks what happened while he was gone. What happened is that the X-Nauts have captured all the other Punies, including the Puny Elder and Punio's little sister, Petunie. Punio says Mario will help them drive the X-Nauts away, but a jerk-ass Puny named Puniper says it's hopeless, especially since the cursed Jabby tribe is working with the X-Nauts. Punio is the only Puny brave enough to accompany Mario as he tries to save everyone. We briefly see an X-Naut working in a chamber of the tree they're using as a storage room, but a very mouse-like silhouette jumps in and knocks him out. Mario and friends find their way to a chamber where the Puny Elder is being held in one jail cell, and a bunch of other Punies are being held in another, including Petunie. They stop and talk to them for a bit, promise to rescue them, and then Mario and friends step into the storage room from one scene ago. Miss Mouse is there. She talks about how Mario is handsome and smooches him again. She says the crystal star they're looking for is at the bottom of the tree. She escapes. The X-Naut wakes up and Mario kicks his ass. He drops the key to the Puny Elder's cell. Mario unlocks the cell and the Elder lectures Punio for several hours for abandoning his sister and running off and how he needs to shape up if he's going to lead the Punies one day and stuff. And there are probably lots of other tangents, but we don't sit through the entire lecture. This is an Animal Crossing. We didn't just reset.
You know, at least this time, when an old person in a game is telling a story, and someone falls asleep, at least the person it's being told to doesn't fall asleep this time. Unlike in the last game, where anytime someone explained something to Mario, he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Mario still falls asleep, but he's not this isn't for him.
Yeah.
He's just there.
And it does take several hours. Once she's done lecturing, the elder heads back to the entrance. Mario and friends follow. Back at the entrance, Puniper says he still doesn't accept Punio as a leader and Mario as an ally, even though they saved the elder. The elder then lectures Puniper just for a bit and orders all the Punies there to join Punio's fight. Goombella asks about the crystal star, and the elder says it's probably the weird rock at the bottom of the tree that generations have taught must be protected from evil and given to the one with the pure heart. She says that Mario will need to rescue the rest of the Punies and gives him the Puny Orb, which will help him solve puzzles. The puzzles here mostly amount to walking back and forth a lot.
So much back and forth. Back and forth and not great NPC pathing.
Yeah, I don't know why Punies even can get hung up on things and not find their way back to you. Like, I don't see a real need for that.
Like, what they could do, because the only time it, like, comes up is with the spiders in a bit, where, like, one or two of them could run away and fall down. That thing could literally just be they cower in fear and won't go. Or they run back to the thing and you have to start over or something. And not be a literal, like, you have to Oddworld keep track of everybody.
It feels like one of those times with, like, you know, like there's a difference between something being like an interesting challenge or a puzzle and something just being a weird pain.
Yeah.
And this is just a weird pain. Like, there's no being clever about it. It's just a weird mechanic that is unwieldy and never makes you feel like, oh, cool, I got this.
Yeah, I get the feeling that originally there was going to be a lot more going on with having a bunch of Punies and having to have enough Punies for such and such and solving puzzles with them. But as it is, you barely actually do anything with them. It's really just gating.
Yeah, you just escort them to certain spots. The most they do with it is the puzzle with the bubbles, but I calling that a puzzle feels like a little, like I'm giving it a little too much credit.
Yeah, you just have to use the partner's ability that you just got, and yeah.
Speaking of the partner's ability we just got, I have to ask, because this is the thing I didn't realize when I was a kid, but I realize now. Did the bit where there's a flight pad sort of thing, and there's a big one of those black and white like sculptures question mark on it? Did you realize that you're supposed to just use flurry to blow that away so you can use the flight pad?
Yes.
Okay. I've seen a lot of people miss that. And by a lot of people, I mean including myself.
I did miss something you were supposed to blow away with flurry later, and then before I finished the tree, I saw in a guide, because I had to look in a guide for reasons I'll explain later. Yes, the shop. But I had to look in a guide because something annoying happened, and I'll explain it during memorable moments.
The mim-mams.
Yes. On their way through the tree, Mario and his puny army fight some jabbies, find a key, rescue the rest of the punies, then get caught in a trap set by Lord Crump. They're stuck in a cage. Lord Crump appears, gloats at them, and leaves. Mario is able to escape the cage with his terrible curse. So he finds a pair of special shoes which allow him to do a spin jump, just like in the last game. Toadette shows up to give the tutorial, and this is only her second appearance in a video game after her first appearance in Mario Kart Double Dash. Fun fact.
Super fun fact. Also, you say like in the last game. Last game, we got the super boots in Chapter 3, super hammer in Chapter 2. Things are a little reversed. We get the boots first. And I appreciate getting the boots first, because I always prefer boots to hammer, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Just the DPS is better.
With the spin jump, Mario can break the floor of the cage and all the punies can escape. Mario and the punies find their way to the bottom of the tree. Mario places the puny orb in a pedestal and the crystal star appears. Huzzah! Lord Crump jumps in and snags it. Oh no! He takes out a remote and sets off a time bomb. Well, he sets a time bomb to go off in 300 seconds. Which I guess makes sense as an evil thing to do, except he's not.
It's still the tree.
He doesn't have much of a head start.
No, he doesn't.
He's hoping on the timing of this being really precise for him to be out of the tree, but Mario's still to be in the tree.
Yeah. And
maybe
fun
he's
fact,
just really fast.
That 300 seconds does not pause for dialogue or for battles or anything.
I think it pauses in the menu, but yeah.
It does pause in the menu, yes. But otherwise.
But yeah, for dialogue and battles now. So Lord Crump runs off, and Mario follows, and he does have to fight a few battles, which maybe that's how Lord Crump was expecting to get out before him. But at the entrance, the puny elder is holding off Lord Crump with a lecture. Mario and friends catch up. Lord Crump shuts off the timer and summons a giant robot.
The Magnus von Glappel.
Yes. Lord Crump hops in the pilot seat and attacks. Boss battle. It's not a particularly difficult or interesting fight. But the music's good.
Mm-hmm.
Mario and friends defeat the robot. It explodes. Lord Crump drops the crystal star, and he and the rest of the X-Nauts run away. Mario and Punio have saved the great Boggly tree. The puny elder gives Mario the second crystal star. End of chapter. We cut to Sir Grotus. An X-Naut reports that Mario took the crystal star in the Boggly Woods. Apparently, the X-Nauts only knew the locations of the ones in Hooktail Castle, Boggly Woods, and the one that they apparently found in Rogueport. Grotus orders the X-Nauts to keep a close watch on Mario so they can follow him to wherever the next crystal star is. Back in Peach's cell, she talks to herself about whether she'll ever dance at the Mushroom Ball again. The door to her cell opens. She goes to see Tech, who talks about how when it heard her talking about dancing, it got the urge to dance with her. Peach is like, "You're a computer. You can't dance." Tech produces a hologram of Peach for her to dance with. Peach is like, okay. So we do a little dance minigame, which involves pressing buttons on the controller when they pop up. It's not really rhythm-based. They just pop up and they're there for a bit. But if you're, for some reason, not playing on a standard GameCube controller, you may get confused for a second and mess up. I don't know why you would not be playing on a standard GameCube controller, though. We all paid $300 or whatever to buy this.
It's true.
I think my copy's either on my bookshelf or in a box in my basement.
Nice. You mean it's in your GameCube?
Yes, exactly. It's in my GameCube, but I definitely have.
I'm not playing on the GameCube. I'm playing on the Wii. That's what I'm
you're
doing.
right. Okay, you're playing on the Wii. Listen, respect.
After dancing, Tech says it was very fun, then wonders what fun is. Tech lets Peach send another email, then says she can return to her room. Peach says Tech's a weird computer, and it corrects her that it's a perfect computer.
I feel like, and this is just, I don't know how long I'll hold to this opinion, but I feel like story-wise, I don't know how meaty the stuff, like, I almost feel like I kind of prefer as a storyline what she does in her cutaways in the first Paper Mario, because at least there it's like her independently going out and like doing shit to help, and here it's just this computer's in love with her and wants to know what love is, which is like not a terrible idea for a plot line. It's a bit weird, but I actually think I like how Peach is written in this game more, because like that line you just said of the "you're a weird computer," Tex, is like there's something about the way that line is like written that just makes me like, it feels like Peach has a little bit more personality. She's a bit of a weirdo, and I appreciate that.
I mean, everyone's a bit of a weirdo in
It's
Thousand
Paper
Year
Mario.
Door.
Yeah.
More in this game than the last game, though. Now we cut to Bowser arriving in Petal Meadows. Cammy says Peach was spotted in the town up ahead. We play as Bowser in a very silly platforming pseudo challenge.
It's so fun.
I loved it.
Fun, if I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, but fun fact, I believe this is the inspiration for Super Paper Mario, is that these Bowser portions, where they effectively like sort of half-heartedly recreate the original Super Mario Brothers in a silly way, was them being like, oh, let's make the next game a 2D side scroller like this.
I don't know.
I swear I remember reading that in Nintendo Power when this game was coming out, when Super Paper Mario was coming out, but that was also 15 to 20-ish years ago, so I could easily be mistaken.
I am just searching Wikipedia really quick, and I don't see a mention of that, but maybe it's not on Wikipedia.
It might not be. I might need to dig through my issues of Nintendo Power. I do have them still.
Nice.
I somehow decided it was a good idea to not throw those away, and I've lugged them across the country from West Coast to the East Coast.
Wow.
I have a lot of Nintendo Power.
I miss Nintendo Power. It was good propaganda.
It was good propaganda. I ate that shit up. It's where I heard about Cave Story for the first time.
Nice. Bowser arrives in Petalburg, and all the residents run and hide. Bowser sees Peach in a window of one of the houses. He walks up and speaks to her, but she doesn't respond at all. A Koopa runs up and says he won't let anything happen to his prized Princess Peach poster. He takes down the poster, which was hung on the outside of the window, which sounds like you're just begging for something to happen to it, and runs inside. That was just a poster of Princess Peach. Trombone sound effect.
I love this gag, honestly. It's so fucking silly.
You can actually speak to this Koopa when you go to Petalburg before. If you go in his house, it's just full of Princess Peach merch.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we go after chapter 2, if it talked to him, will he say something about Bowser?
Maybe.
I'll have to investigate it. I'll report my findings next time.
All right, we'll find out more about that next week.
But for now, we're going to listen to some more music and then talk about our memorable moments.
Bernard, I noticed you've recapped Mario's adventures very well, but you haven't talked about the other adventure that is happening right now, namely Luigi.
I figured that was a very memorable moment.
It was an
for all of us.
Moment.
Sam, do you want to share what Luigi's been up to?
I don't remember enough specifics. I just know he's gone on his own adventure to also get 7-somethings, to also get a kidnapped princess.
He's gone to the Waffle Kingdom to get all 7 pieces of the Marvelous Compass so he can rescue Princess Eclair. This joke is so good.
Basically, the only thing I remember from playing this game as a ridiculous child, which when did this game come out? 2005?
Yeah, 2005 sounds right.
Let me check.
2004.
2004. Okay.
20 years ago.
So I was technically a teenager, but I was still a ridiculous child.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember from playing back then is I wanted to play this game starring Luigi as well.
Mm-hmm.
When people, like, when they've announced, been showing off, they're like, oh, they're doing a remake on the Switch, or a revamp or whatever we want to call it. I've seen some people be like, all right, cool, you're doing that. When are we getting our Paper Luigi game?
So you know how this is the other Mario RPG company, so they won't do this. But you know how Alpha Dream had Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, and there was a new thing. This should totally be Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door plus Paper Luigi and the Pudding Kingdom.
That worked out great for Alpha Dream, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it did so good for both of those that they completely went out of business and sold 100% of their assets and have completely liquidated. That's a sign of success, right?
Yes.
uh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't turn that down. In general, I do, as much as it's just in general fun. The entire idea of Luigi off having his own silly other adventure, completely unrelated to ours, is what I really like about it. And like, it's one of those things in my brain that really separates the Paper Mario series from the Mario and Luigi series. In the Mario and Luigi series, Luigi is just full on nothing but a punching bag. He exists just to be made fun of. Where in like anything bad happens, it happens to Luigi. In Paper Mario, Luigi he's a source of comedy, but it's not like a, oh, Luigi's a loser. It's like a, no, Luigi's like doing his own weird shit that is like kind of bizarre, but it's like, I don't know, it feels, the tone is different. It feels less like we're kicking on a man while he's down. It feels less like Luigi's the Galeer of the
Hmm.
Mario universe.
Yeah, and it could be because this game was on the GameCube where Luigi got his first starring role, and so Luigi's not just a piece of crap anymore. He's can float his own Mario games now.
Excuse you, first starring role? What about Mario's Missy?
I mean, Superstar Saga came out after Luigi's Mansion.
I mean, yeah, but that's on the Game Boy Advance. They weren't as
Different
plugged into
console.
the
Different
they weren't
console.
plugged into the GameCube. The GameCube is Luigi's stomping ground.
That
It is.
okay.
It's true.
I
It's
mean,
true.
surely the Wii U is Luigi's stomping ground. That was the year of That's when we had the year of Luigi.
That's true.
And
Oh, sad.
and again, did pretty well for the Wii U.
Uh-huh.
If I recall correctly, the Wii U sales shot up during the year of Luigi, and everyone has one.
I speaking just of the chapter as a whole, I think chapter 2 is it's fun that it's doing something a little, it's trying something different and neat, and I like the aesthetics. I think the aesthetics of this whole area is pretty cool. I don't It's not my favorite chapter. It's
Yeah,
not bad. It's just not my favorite chapter.
it's
Yeah.
got some fun stuff in it, but it's also got some annoying stuff in it, and they just sort of balance out to make it, pretty okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the plot of this chapter is kind of a nothing burger. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you got to go to the tree. It's like, okay, we went to the tree, and then instead of two dungeons like last time, you walk over one screen, walk back two screens, walk back two screens, and that's the first half of the chapter is just walking across the same two screens.
And then you do
And
walking back and forth screens in the tree
uh-huh.
to lighten, change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and
And
so
you walk back and forth in the tree a lot if you keep fucking stuff up or forgetting things or not knowing where to go or having a poor sense of
So
direction.
so why'd you have to look up a guide, Bernard?
So when I got the spin jump, the I went into the cage and I did the spin jump. I broke the thing and I ended up down the hole with just a few punies following me. And so I was like, oh, only some of the punies followed me. I need to go back up and get the rest.
Oh.
So I went back up, I went back in, I went in the cage again. The punies were added to my puny counter. I go down the hole, but they don't follow me. And I'm like, are they stuck? So I keep trying a whole bunch of different sequences of actions to get them to come down the hole with me. Eventually, I am just baffled. I'm Googling, like, Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, punies won't follow, Reddit, and I'm not finding anything. So eventually I look up a guide and I'm like, maybe if I read a guide, I'll be able to piece together what I'm supposed to do to fix this obvious glitch. And the guide is just like, use flurries, wind power to shoot them into the hole. And I'm like, oh my God, I am a fool.
Yeah.
It just confused me because some of them I thought some of them followed me into the hole. I now realize they were just standing on top of the platform when I broke it, and that's why they fell down and quote followed unquote me.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed for the first time. I have played this game so many times, and I'd never noticed in this cutscene where you go to see Flurry, there's a point where you get a shot of her room, and you can see a treasure chest in the background behind her. And I just never registered that as a detail. And this time I was like, wait a minute, can I go into her room afterwards? And the answer is yes, you can. And yes, you can open that treasure chest, and there is a badge inside. It's not a very good badge, but it is a badge that you can get.
I thought I tried going in her room, but I couldn't. But I must be misremembering, unless you have to do a trick.
You just have to get her into your party, and once she's in your party, you can go into her room.
Yeah, I thought I tried after getting her in my party, but again,
You might have had to
I
leave
guess
and come back afterwards. She might try to stop you immediately after you do it. But
maybe that's what happened.
I
I don't
backtracked
know.
later, and I was able to get in. It's super appeal, but for your partner.
I see. I probably wouldn't use that anyway.
Yeah, me either. Sam, memes, mama nums, mama noodles.
Memes.
Memes.
Um, yeah, I really liked this chapter for what it was, and nothing really super stood out to me except for Luigi, who was fantastic. But I think the Punies are cute.
They're cute.
They're definitely dollar store Pikmin,
Yep.
but they're still cute.
I really like the writing in this chapter, which the writing is always great in this game.
Yes.
But Punio is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fun little side character.
Yeah. And he's just a little scaredy cat, but he's trying his best. He's being brave even though he's scared. And he's just really fun.
I just remembered earlier I said I would talk about Vivian. I guess I'll do that now. Keep in mind, I've not played this game in Japanese. I'm going off of what I know from other queer Mario fans. Yeah, evidently, in Japanese, Vivian is explicitly a trans woman, and in that bit where her is it Beldum is in the English version where it's like, oh, you shouldn't call us the Shadow Beauties because we're beautiful but you're ugly. In the Japanese version, it's something more like her calling them the Shadow Sisters, and Beldum going, no, we can't call ourselves Shadow Sisters because you're not a girl. And it literally, like, Beldum saying, instead of like just insulting her, is just being extremely transphobic, apparently, in the original.
Mm-hmm.
Which, on the one hand, that sucks. But on the other hand, Beldum's supposed to suck. And, like, obviously you're supposed to get out of this that Vivian is a sweetie who doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. So, and also the fact that this was a game, as you said, it came out in 2004 that had a trans woman in it. Like, actually neat. Like, that's actually pretty cool. I wish they'd kept that in the English version. I hope, I'm crossing my fingers, maybe it'll have that in the Nintendo Switch version. That would be nice. I would appreciate that a lot. I'm not gonna hold my breath because it's Nintendo, but I'm gonna hope.
If I had a nickel for every time that Nintendo had a quality trans character that they straight washed when they brought him overseas, straight isn't the right word. Cis washed. I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I gotta ask, who's the other case?
Birdo.
I thought Birdo was also trans in the English instruction booklet, at least back in like Super Mario Bros. 2 times.
A whole real complicated thing.
It's like a whole back and forth. Like, it depends on what era, what country you're talking about, sort of thing.
What era, what country, what you choose to see as canon.
Mm-hmm.
It's my understanding is
Rainbow's
just it's
not
really
canon.
complicated. But
Yeah,
that's how I think of her.
I believe
That's how I think of
in
her as well.
the original Western Super Mario Brothers 2, she was cis-washed. I coined that phrase and I can't say it. It's a bad phrase.
It's a difficult to say sequence of syllables.
The English language is not meant to put those sounds together.
Um,
Also, I will say, speaking of Vivian, if you examine Vivian, with Goombella, she does say that she's really cute.
yes.
I'm adding that to my list of girls. I've been taking screenshots. I think I'm up to about 4 girls so far that Goombella says are cute.
Mm-hmm. I like Goombella, and I like when she says a girl is cute, or when she says a girl is a floozy.
Or she calls her flute. Listen, when you examine the room that Miss Mouse shows up in, she says something about like, oh, maybe she went back to Floozyville. Speaking also of great Goombella tattle sort of things, one of the Jabby nest areas, if you examine that area, she starts talking about how this tree works and like wondering where the nutrients come from and like exactly how the science of this place works. And it's like, God, isn't nature fascinating? And I'm like, yeah, Goombella, it is. I love you. She's got so much range. And when you have her out for cutscenes, she frequently says really funny things.
She is great. I love her.
And if you upgraded her, which you should have with your shine, if you have the shine sprays for it, that she's really good in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. She can do 4 damage in a turn.
And it's not that difficult of a input to get the 4 damage.
Yes. Her stylish move is a little difficult to do, but it's like it's not that. The secret is you press A before she jumps, like just before she's gonna jump off the ground to headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
And she does a little flip. She makes it like a front flip. Her style.
So apparently, according to MarioWiki.com, I had it backwards. In North America, Birdo was misgendered but described as a trans person in the original, and then in the Japanese, they treated her as an Okama for all of the Satellaview games, which is not great. But post N64, it's all she her from then on.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mario Wiki. It says that in the original North American instruction booklet for Super Mario Brothers 2 says Birdo thinks that Birdo is a girl. And here's the thing, if you think you're a girl, that sounds to me like you're a girl.
Indeed. That's how it works.
But yeah, there's our trans rage for this game. It's been a while. been since Persona 2.
I mean, it's trans rage directed at a different game in the same franchise.
Yes.
Like honestly, if we were trying to examine what I know of the trans content of this game, it's fairly positive.
Yeah.
It's someone being shitty, but someone who is explicitly
an abusive
a shitty,
older
terrible
sister.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, I'm on the Birdo Mario Wiki page, and the Mario Hoops Zero 3 art for Birdo is so good.
It's so good.
She's so cute. I love Birdo.
Birdo's great.
I'm so glad that Birdo got added to Mario Kart 8. Despite the game having been out despite Mario Kart 8 Deluxe having been out for years before they added Birdo, if you go in my stats on the game, it still lists Birdo as my favorite character because I've played as her so much since then.
Amazing.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Can you believe that game has been the current Mario Kart for coming up on a decade now?
That's wild.
Yep.
It's a good one. I'm not mad, but that's insane. I feel in the 2000s we got a new Mario Kart every like couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe combined are the 6th best-selling video game of all time.
Oh, wow.
Just behind PUBG Battlegrounds.
Wait, what the fuck?
Which
Okay.
I can't believe they changed the name of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds to PUBG Battlegrounds. That is just
It's a
insane
real
to me.
ATM machine. So I realized I brought up a little bit last time, but it was like, oh, we should talk about that next week because you don't really do it until after chapter 1. You can go to the Trouble Center now to do side quests.
You can
And the
get 20 coins.
The rewards for them aren't very good, but the actual troubles themselves are so good. I love the side quests in this game compared to, like, there was a couple real side quests in the first Paper Mario, but most of it was just delivering letters and letter chains. And in this case, they're just, one of them is literally, hey, there's this dude. He defrauded. He did a credit card fraud on me. I need you to find him. And you just keep chasing a bandit throughout the city, finding his hiding spot so you can get him to finally, like, give back the money you stole or something. It's just like, this is ridiculous. I love this.
It's not even for him to give back the money he stole. It's for the guy he stole it from so that he can beat him up.
You're right. I forgot. You're right. Rogueport's great.
Yeah, I did so many troubles. A lot of them I just sort of forgot as soon as I finished them, so I don't have a lot of memorable moments from them. I did enjoy the one where you have to hit a guy over the head the right amount of time so that he remembers something he forgot but doesn't forget it again.
Wait, because if you hit him after he remembers it, he forgets it.
Exactly.
And you have to keep hitting him until he remembers it again. And then you don't even get paid for that one, because all you get for that is what the thing he was remembering, which is, I think I brought up a last game, a fun thing about Paper Mario is that the shop's buying and selling prices are different depending on what store you're in. And so it is possible to buy an item in one shop and sell it in another shop for a profit. And he tells you about how to, I think it's like a fire flower, you can buy it in one store and sell it to another store this early in the game for like a 1 coin profit every time. And it's like,
yep. If you go from Rogueport to Petalburg with an item you bought in Rogueport, you can sell it for a 2 coin profit.
2 coin profit.
Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, right. To be fair, there is, besides the profit, there's also a thing that we did. One of the many systems they added in this game is they added a shop point system that is tracked among all shops in the game, where when you spend money, it counts it and you get points every time you buy something, and you get prizes at a certain amounts of points, and as it gets higher and higher, it gets better and better prizes. So I mean, that's also a benefit, I guess. It's profit and also you get more points, but yeah, it's not exactly a fun way to spend your time. I say, having done a bit of that to get enough money for the badges I wanted, because there's so many badges you can get, and I want them.
Badges are important.
They're very important. Also, there's one of the troubles is there's a hide and seek Koopa whose name I'm forgetting, but he mostly just goes by the hide and seek Koopa, and you have to find him hiding somewhere in Hooktail's castle. And at first you're like, okay, yeah, this is just some random, oh cool, I'll find this guy playing hide and seek. But then you find him, and even if you don't have him out, Koops comes out to talk, goes, wait a minute, you're my childhood friend. I haven't seen you in years. And it's like, oh yeah, you were never able to find me when we played hide and seek. And I just kept hiding and hiding and found me. And I just never went home. And it's just a weird little story. And if you do that trouble, you get an email later from the hide and seek Koopa.
That's fantastic.
Also, because you have access, I think, Bernard, you have access to West Rogueport at this point, right?
Yes, so last episode...
I was wrong. I said wrong things.
Yeah, last episode you said that you order the you order the lens, and then it comes in a chapter later. But after I finished chapter 1, before I started chapter 2, I went and ordered the lens. Then I went to East Rogueport, went back to Central Rogueport, and it was there. So, yay!
Yeah, you just have to do the flag for chapter 1. But because we have access to West Rogueport, there's a thing I want to talk about because it's just a fun, silly thing about this game. There's a thing in this game called the Happy Lucky Lottery. The Happy Lucky Lottery is it's a lottery thing. So you go in, you pay some money, you pay some coins, you get a lottery ticket, and there's prizes, and there's really good prizes. If you get full match on your lottery ticket, you get a Power Plus badge, aka like the best badge in the game, right? So like that's cool. So it's not random chance. I mean, it is, but it isn't. The way the Happy Lucky Lottery works is that when you get your ticket, it decides how many days from now all of the prizes will be, and they're all certain ranges of days. Like the fourth prize, this is not the exact numbers, but off the top of my head, like basically, like the fourth prize is like a week to 2 weeks from when you bought your ticket is when the fourth prize will be.
Oh my god!
A random day in that range. You can't get the top, and if you check it and it's wrong, and you can choose to like trade it in, which just resets the numbers. The best prizes, they get farther and farther out. The best prize, the Power Plus badge, there's a 30-day interval that's about a year after you get the badge. And this is being tracked in real lifetime on your GameCube clock.
Within 335 to 395 days, will reward the player with the first prize. Wow.
Yep. It's so stupid. And hypothetically, if you really wanted to get that badge and you want to just save scum and just fuck with the data clock, so you have to be careful. Like a lot of GameCube games, that use the clock, never set your clock backward. If you set your clock backward, the game will know, and you will be punished for it, very badly in this case. It's a real Rossetti moment. But so let's say hypothetically you're emulating this game, and you're playing on an emulator that doesn't have just a thing to adjust the GameCube emulated clock, and it's just going off of what your computer's data is. So you start changing your date on your computer. You desync it from what's the correct date. You start using that to do it, and then you decide to give up because this is taking too long, and you don't fucking care. And then you realize that doing that has fucked up your certificates for websites because it's now telling you that like, oh, the date is wrong, and so that the security thing on a website is now extremely out of date. It's like a year out of date. And because of that, this triggers a cascade effect that leads to you being locked out of the email you've been using for 20 years.
Oh no. My god.
Hypothetically.
That would be terrible if that happened.
That'd be terrible.
Rossetti got hands.
I can't. I mean, the Mario Wiki just says you get fined 500 coins, but I didn't realize they future-proofed this.
That's insane.
Thanks, Happy Lucky Lottery for permanently locking me out of the email I used for 20 years. Also, double middle fingers up at Yahoo, who asks you to pay for premium service to recover your account.
What?
$12 a month.
That's absolutely should be illegal.
It really should be. It really should be. I got a new email. No, that's great. Anyway, any of those got any memorable moments? I feel like my sleep-deprived brain, I've been really unhinged today.
I really find it cute and funny how there's a running thing this chapter specifically about how Mario is like really handsome apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And all the ladies are just into him.
Mm-hmm.
And also I find it funny how Puniper is like, we can't beat the Jabbies, and adding this hairy old man to our cause won't help. I also found that funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you like what you heard this week, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations will help us cover the cost of running the show and making it better and better. If you set up a recurring monthly donation, you also get some additional benefits. If you donate $1 more a month, you get access to our bonus feed, where this week the Kaseki curse strikes again, and we're all going to be playing the escape pod, and we get to do the big side quest chapter. And I don't know how much of the actual story we'll be doing because I haven't finished playing it yet. But if it's not Kaseki, that episode is ready to be completed. However, has had recording issues for the past 3 weeks now. So maybe we'll get it done before I leave for Texas. Who can say? You will also get access to our polls that decide what game we play next on the main feed when they're up. If you donate $5 or more a month, we'll also shout your name at the end of every episode, just like this. Shouts to Cerebral Wind, It's Clear Time, Frosthair, Dragonslayer 19, Florist, Kildron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and JFro Prime. And then finally, if you love us so much that you donate $20 or more a month, you also get to make me say a sentence of your choosing, either to plug something or just make me say some certain words in some certain orders. Shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. And then shoutouts to Vimke, who's been dropping tips on playing Legend of Legaia in our Discord. You should come and hang out on our Discord and talk to them about Legend of Legaia so that I can stop doing so. And then shoutouts to Carr, who is a dentist, so he isn't plugging a website, but rather your own mouth. And he says to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.
I have the Wikipedia page for best-selling video games up because I was looking up where Mario Kart 8 falls on that list. And fun fact, Human Fall Flat has sold over 50 million copies, making it one of the best-selling video games of all time.
Weird.
Okay,
I don't remember purchasing that game.
Apparently, it's extremely huge in China. Whereas I think over here, a lot of people haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I know Scarlett's demographic loves it because it's a silly, weird game that feels like it would just be a Roblox game, but is big. Mm-hmm. And so I can see the appeal. I don't like games that are frustrating to control, and that's their gimmick, and that's this game's gimmick. So
yeah, your co-op, your surgeon simulator, your.
Mm-hmm. I love co-op so much.
I love co-op is the exception that proves the rule. Co-op is so good.
Co-op is actually yeah.
But like Octodad, I it's fun to play around in, but it is not a game that I feel like I would want to play twice. It's like I did the silly thing in the first level, and I've enjoyed this enough.
Apparently, Human Fall Flat released in China in 2020, and sometimes a game being released in 2020 is what makes it get big because people didn't have anything else to do.